Now, this client was able to get approved for a $50,000 business line of credit. But before they were able to get this results, not only did we have to build up their credit profile, but also restore their credit. Now, one of the biggest mistakes I see in the funding space is that a lot of people apply prematurely, meaning that they have sub 700 credit scores and they're applying for business funding or personal funding and they're getting denied. Now, I don't know who needs to hear this, but if your payment history does not look like this, then you need to get it addressed. Now, this client has a 700 credit score, but let's take a look at where they were when they first started working with us. So as y'all can see, on November 12th, 2024, which it was about a month ago as of today, so they went from a 534 on November 12th. 5 days later, on November 17th, they jumped up to a 614. And then just a couple days after that, they jumped up to a 703. And currently they're at a 700. So overall, we've seen over 160 point credit score increase within a matter of 30 days. Now let's take a look at what resulted in the credit score increase. So as y'all see, on November 12th, they were at a 534. And then they jumped up 80 points. All right. So now that puts them at a 614. So in 5 days, they increased by 80 points. Their credit score increased by 80 points. Then a couple days later, on November 23rd, we see this 89 point credit score increase. So let's take a look at what resulted in this 89 point jump. All right. So as y'all see, this is as of November 23rd, 2024. There were 6 changes on the TransUnion credit report, which resulted in an 89 point credit score increase that put them over 700. First thing we see, Goldman Sachs Bank, US General Motors. So this is the GM Goldman Sachs credit card. All right. Balance decrease. So let's see what happened. All right. This only went down by $12. So that's not going to give them that huge jump. Look a little further. We see Headway Capital account removed from the file. On Deck Capital removed from the file. So for those who don't know what Headway Capital and On Deck, those are actually what you consider fintech business lines of credit. So those are actually business accounts. So what happens if you default on some of those business accounts, they'll report it on your personal credit report. And that's what happened in this case. And, it affected their personal credit. But luckily, we were able to get these accounts completely removed from the credit report, which resulted in over 160 point credit score increase overall. And of course, we are also going to get the inquiries wiped off for all of our clients so that they can go for new rounds of funding and not have a bunch of inquiries on their report. So as you can see, we got 2 of them inquiries knocked off as well. So you got inquiries removed, not that big of a deal. And then these derogatory accounts got those wiped off as well. Now, this client still has a way to go, right? So the most important factors, excellent 100% on-time payment history. I can't stress this enough. If this is anything other than 100%, you're going to be classified as high risk. And when you're going for funding, you don't want to give the lenders anything that they could poke holes in as far as your credit worthiness. And when you have less than 100% on-time payments, that automatically puts you in a high risk category. So they also have pretty high utilization. Even at 34%, they're still at a 700. And these were accounts that they wanted to continue to use. So we didn't touch those accounts. We left them as is, and they have 34% utilization. But once this customer pays those balances down, as we're getting them more funding, then their credit score is going to skyrocket even higher. Derogatory marks, excellent. So that has a high impact. 0 derogatory marks, pretty decent credit age, 7 years, 11 months. A healthy number of total accounts at 27. And of course, 0 inquiries because we get those knocked off for all of our credit restoration clients. Now, fixing your credit is just the first step. You also want to be able to build your personal and business credit profile by adding positive primary trade lines. And we do offer primary trade lines on both the personal and business side. And then once your credit is in a strong position, that's where we can then help you to get funding. But at the core of it is fixing your personal credit. We're heading into 2025. Rates are coming down. So to take advantage of this next economic boom we're about to see, you need to be in position in terms of getting access to capital from these different financial institutions. That's really going to give you an advantage going into 2025. But unfortunately, you're not going to be able to access that capital if you have derogatory items hanging onto your credit profile. Now, the banks are still lending out a ton of money, but they're going to be more selective with who they lend the money to. So don't delay. Come and get your credit fixed today. Links in the description of the video. Let's get it.